It's Before 6 and time for Leroy Wine Guy Guilford. Before 6 is a weekly rotating commentary by Leroy and his fun friends in the wine lifestyle industry. Sponsored in part by jmmedu.org. Because this is one wine event you do not want to miss.
Thank you, Rod Eisenbeis. Hello, everybody. This is your host, Leroy Guilford, and you're listening to Before 6 on the Dining with Dills show. Hey, this week I'm going just a little esoteric. I'm sitting here in the beautiful Vineyard Estate with Gil Gagnon of Canyon Cellars. He is the owner winemaker of a craft boutique winemaking operation here in Southern California. A little operation with a big film story behind it. Well, kind of. Gil, what is this? Our fifth or sixth time together here on the radio in the last couple of years, and we get just 6 minutes to tell your fun story. Welcome to Before 6.
Leroy, thanks for having me.
Well, you know what? We're sitting here in your private studio with the drums right next to us. You've been playing since you were 5 years old. You're a musician. You have a band. You made movies. You made movies for the Disney company. And now you make wine. Tell the story.
Well, the short version is when you live in LA and you sit in that traffic, as I did for more than 20 years, I calculated you spent about 6 years just sitting in the car sniffing exhaust. So I kind of had enough of that. But to kill that time, I actually would listen to a podcast that was Grape Encounters with David Wilson. Mm-hmm. And one time he had a show where he broke it down about how you can go and do this. And so I used to listen to that over and over again, and until it finally, just drilled into my head.
You could become a winemaker too.
Yeah, well, somehow I believed it, and I decided I was going to do it. So,
but before we jump forward too far into that, okay? So, but you and you and your film buddies play music, right?
Yeah. So a bunch of studio executives and I have a band called Second Sight. We do shows all around, and it's great fun. And so I spent a little over a decade at Disney as the vice president of post-production services, and then now, getting into doing wine.
So you jump from, let's face it, not everybody is an executive with Disney films, okay? So you jump from a pretty nice job there to one of the lowest paying things in all the world, starting a winery from scratch.
Yeah, well, all things have its price. And so there isn't anything easy about the winemaking piece of this, that's for sure. And to be quite frank, I don't think I've ever worked this hard. And I'm from sunup way beyond sundown, usually about 18 hours a day. And an easy day is when we have a half day. That would be about 12 hours.
Now, let's talk about, though, because in the film industry, you had opportunities to drink some nice wines occasionally at different events and things, right? So there was some kind of inspiration that went, gosh, I wonder if I could do this too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where you develop a passion for it and a taste for it. And so I just knew I wanted to make wines that I would be proud to serve you if you were a guest at my dinner table.
Aha. And speaking of, now you worked on a lot of really big films, and a number of those won some really big awards. But now you're making wines that have won some awards too. Why don't we talk about those?
Well, I guess you could use the same analogy, just that when you sit there and you make movies one frame at a time, and as I do, a small boutique winery, you're kind of just making, wines,
one bottle
at a time, just about. But anyways, like I said, I wanted to create something that I would be proud to serve anybody at any dinner table. So we have actually won 15 awards last year on our 2013 vintage, and we have a Cabernet.
Speaking of, let's take a little toast of that right at the moment. Sure. Okay, so yes, folks, his 2013 Cabernet. Oh my gosh, smooth, round, big, and full. Let's talk about where you source your fruit from, because although you make your wines in Southern California, you have a very special relationship with long-standing Northern California vineyards, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with a small family grower up there that has been farming his property for 40 years. If you're not familiar with where the Alexander Valley is, mm-hmm. It's about 20 miles north of Santa Rosa. and it's got a lot of really famous neighbors there, whether it's Coppola or Silver Oak. And having somebody that has done this for 40 years, you just want to make sure you've got the best people on your team.
Right.
So happy to partner with him and to make these fabulous wines.
Now, because Southern California does have some allurements for farming wine grapes, if you do them correctly, you have a beautiful vineyard estate here in Temecula, and we're actually here on your estate. Let's talk about that special little 1 acre that you planted for some special feature handcrafted wines.
Yes, absolutely. Well, again, to dive as deep as you can into it, I planted Cabernet and Petit Syrah, which are the two varietals I'm very passionate about, and planted that vineyard last year. And we're only going on to its second leaf this year, so we won't actually grow any fruit this year. So I'll put all those hours of work into that without yielding any drop.
Hours of work, you guys, you and your wife go out and do special wine shows and so on. There are places where your wines are available. As I said, folks, it's a little more esoteric. You got to search a little below the surface. Let's talk about where those places are that Gagnon Cellars wines can be found.
Sure. The best place is if you're buy wines online, you can go to our website, which is GagnonCellars.com, or you can buy them on Amazon. You could go to some wine shops down in the San Diego area. There's a La Costa wine shop. In Temecula, there's a few shops, Chef Flavor, Barron's. Up in Rancho Cucamonga, there's Total Wine and More, all the way as far north as Paso Robles at the Grape Emporium. A few restaurants here in town in Temecula, Crush and Brew or Palumbo's. And then we do tasting events.
And so if they check your website, they can find out one of those tasting events.
Yes, that's GagnonCellars.com. That's GagnonCellars.com.
Yo, thank you once again. Yeah. Till next week, folks.
This has been Before Six with Leroy Wine Guy Guilford. Before Six is a weekly rotating commentary by Leroy and all of his fun friends in the wine lifestyle industry. Sponsored in part by jmmedu.org. Because this is one wine event you do not want to miss.
You know, the most incredible wine anyone may have ever drank was probably at a singular event in history. Yes, a very special wedding circa AD 30 in a little town in Cana, Israel. An incredible miracle of provision performed by Jesus, yes, son of Mary and Joseph, and one you've probably heard about. Now, that wasn't surprising considering Jesus would go on to say, I've come to give life and that more abundantly. Well, you know, there's another wedding very soon on the horizon where he will once again serve up that incredible wine. Find out just how fast this event, the Wedding Supper of the Lamb, is approaching at jmmedu.org. Joseph Morris is the world's foremost thinker and commentator on just how fast this event is approaching. Every week, you will learn of news happening all over the earth, much of which never makes it into the mainstream media, that corroborates so much of what Scripture has foretold. A new video blog is posted every week by Joseph Morris Ministries, End of Days Update, at jmmedu.org, because this is one wine event you do not want to miss.